Bringing back our State of the Program series. Here we are going through all of our favorite programs in college basketball, the best programs in college basketball. And we have five categories. You and I are each going to grade this team in each category on a 1 to 10 scale. I have 50 points to give out total. You have 50 points to give out total. At the end, we add it up. Higher score, the better for each program. And we come out with a list of overall program health in ranking based order to see where all of our programs stand overall in the sport of college basketball. Today's edition is Illinois. This is the second one that we are recording. The first one we recorded was the Purdue Boilermakers, the team that I think will probably finish atop this entire list. But I've been surprised before. Last year when we did this, there were some surprises with the outputs. So we'll see where all these teams stack up. Our first category is returnees. They get a 10 if this team returns everything substantial. They get a 0 if this team returns almost nothing substantial. What do you grade Illinois for returnees?
So obviously they lose the draft picks, right? They lose Will Riley and they lose Kasparis, both to the draft. Kasparis, I think we expected both those guys to leave, so I'm not holding that against them as much, but they did lose two first round NBA draft picks. But they do get back Kylan Boswell, they get back Big T, they get back Ben Rickhouse. Am I missing anybody back?
Big T, Humrickhouse, Boswell, Ty Rogers before the injury was back, Jake Davis, and AJ Red are the six Illinois players that are returning that are registered as having logged minutes. I will remind you that most programs on earth returning six guys would just say, yeah, we've returned six guys. Illinois has been touting this as some massive accomplishment that gives them a competitive edge over every other program in the conference outside of Purdue basically all summer. We've seen percent of returning minutes graphics everywhere we look. They returned six guys. One is AJ Red. One is Jake Davis. One can't walk and may never play basketball again. The other three are Kylan Boswell, Benham Rickhouse, and Tom Ivisic.
Hmm, understandable. I will give this a I'll give it a 6.
That seems like the right number. It is slightly in the positive because it is a positive for Illinois to have six faces back in the locker room.
Hmm.
I think there are three guys that will play noteworthy roles on this team. One of them was a guy we actively wanted to play less last year in Humrickhouse. It's hard for me to buy him as a super meaningful improvement. Boswell and Ivisic are the story. Ivisic should be one of the best players in the Big Ten. Boz is a guy that, as a year two transfer guard, should give them awesome, awesome minutes. But yeah, to me, it's just not some noteworthy amount of retention that Illinois wants to make it out to be. I'll go six. You go six. Let's move to the next category. Departures kind of goes hand in hand with returnees. However, a program gets 10 points if they didn't lose anything really of note. A program gets 0 points if they lost everything of note and it went as bad as it could possibly go. Illinois loses Kasparis, Yakichonis, and Will Riley to the NBA draft, which was the plan. Dre Gibbs Lawhorn is out. Trey White is at Kansas, where he will likely start. Merez Johnson with one of the more controversial decisions to transfer of any player in the country, leaving for an interconference opponent in Michigan. Kerry Booth gone. Keaton Kutcher gone. That's seven players. Roughly three, if not four, impact players, depending on how you feel about Merez. This is a lot, even if they do return a couple key pieces. There's a lot of good players that are out of this program.
Yeah, also like as far as too where we're coming from on this one, like I know there was a different maybe view of Kasparis on this Illinois team, but like he was really good. And I feel like Illinois fans try to act like he obviously like had the turnover things like that, but also I feel like they do him a little bit dirty in how they talk about what he did for this team. So I will go with I mean, they lost losing Merez and Kasparis and Will Riley, even like a program guy like DGL. I would give this a uh 3.
Okay, 3 for you. That's a pretty low grade, but it's not diabolically bad. I still think it's better than probably last year's Illinois grade. Here's what I would say. Kasparis, there was no way you were going to bring him back. He's an impact player, so it's a loss, but whatever. Will Riley, they acted like they thought there was a chance they'd get him back, right? There were talks of like an NIL package being put together and possibly trying to convince Will Riley to stay for year two. Ultimately, it sounds like the staff and Will Riley mutually agreed to it was time to move on and go in a different direction. But Will Riley was a guy you could have gotten back, and if you got him back, we definitely feel way better about this team.
Mm.
So I think that one has to at least be factored in as somewhat of an impactful loss. I think DGL, say what you want about him, I'd feel better about the guard depth if he was on this team, given that Petrovic had some concerns with delayed arrival. So I don't know. I think you're going to have moments this season where you miss DGL and Trey White, who was really productive when he played last year. The most influential one, and I'm a Michigan fan. It's not easy for me to comment on this unbiased, but by far the most influential one is Merez. I mean, that's a guy who theoretically had like a 3 or 4 year future in this program, an in-state kid that stood for all the things you thought the program stood for, like just being a dog. And to lose him to a program not particularly known for having dogs and lose him with him making a stink about it on the way out, I think was a big deal. I would not have wanted that to happen. Even if you had to overpay him a little bit or do something else, come up with decisions to keep him from leaving for Michigan, I would have liked to see them do that. So I'm going to have to give this a 2 cart. I think
Oh
they
wow.
lost a ton here. And there were a lot of decisions I don't agree with from Brad Underwood's standpoint here on letting guys go that he should have tried harder to keep.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say. I think the Will Riley one, to your point, especially the chatter, given that he could come back. Maybe if it was handled differently, he comes back. Who knows that?
Okay, into recruits. This is solely incoming freshmen, and that's it. Now, freshman is an interesting term with Illinois basketball right now because they would try and play a 28-year-old Croatian man as a true freshman if they could. However, we don't know what Petrovic's uh, official year classification will be. We know that David Mirkovic is a freshman. Keaton Wagler is a freshman. Brandon Lee is a freshman. They've also got that guy, Blake Fagbemi, who was basically kind of like a pseudo walk on type in a freshman class. So if you don't consider Petrovic part of it, it's a 4-man freshman class. We don't have a category for international players anywhere. I'd be fine including Petrovic as a quote unquote freshman in this class if we want to. And I think it would definitely boost it up some additional points if we do.
I think we should. I think he should be included in one portion of this. So I feel better about including him in this freshman portion, even though it feels weird.
Okay. The Balkan Brad rule.
The
We
ball,
can we can count whatever international players as part of a freshman class. So that makes it Petrovic, Mirkovic, Wagler, Lee, Fagbemi.
I give that a 7.
Okay.
I give that a 7. I think you feel good about Mahalo and what he can do. Keaton Wagler has, from everyone who has watched him, has had an incredible summer. Is going to factor in on this team. Mirkovic, I think, gives you something at the 4 spot that you might need if you don't get what you think you're going to get out of a guy like possibly Big Z starting at the 4. So yeah, I think I like the between the newcomers of honestly just Wagler, Petrovic, and Mirkovic gives it a 7 for me.
I think this is really low from you. I'm giving this a 9. It's
Oh.
not an absolute top 5 freshman class in the sport, but if we are including Petrovic, I don't know how many classes out there have a point guard as proven as him that you know is going to be a can't miss starter. Beyond that, you've got another guy, Mirkovic, that you know can give you minutes. You've got Wagler, who's the upside shout, and it sounds like they absolutely adore this kid. And then you've got some depth with Brandon Lee and Fagbemi. If you are going to lose certain pieces and go the route Brad Underwood saying he wants to go now, you got to have depth pieces that can fill 15 roster spots. This class helps you do that. I'm giving this a 9. I think that's a really strong freshman class from Illinois standards.
Can I boost this up to an 8 post humonimously?
You can bump it up to an 8 largely because I'm seeing your grade for Purdue and you gave their freshman class an 8. And I think Illinois with Petrovic is undoubtedly better than Purdue's.
8.
Okay, so we'll give it an 8. Transfer class is next. Just 2 transfers this year for Brad. How we grade that, we'll see. Andrei Stojakovic and Zvonimir Ivisic. Everybody else was a freshman or an international ad. Stojakovic projects to be an impact player, is struggling through some injury stuff, and reports say he's been better defensively than offensively in the offseason, which was not the expectation. Big Z, Big T's brother, taller, possibly more talented, been more erratic in college with many questions on exactly what his role will be on this team, but cannot deny the talented player that Zvonimir Ivisic is. What would you grade this two-man transfer class 1 to 10?
So I'm giving this an 8. I'm giving this an 8 because I'm very high on Stojakovic, and also like Greg, you were there. We remember the moment. Big Z had games last year when he was really good. Big Z had that moment at Kentucky. There's a player there that I think Brad could get it out of him. And if he does, then you got this brotherly duo that is versatile and could be really, beneficial to each other and is helpful to Illinois basketball. So it is a two-man class, and maybe it feels a little on the bright side to give a two-man class an 8, but I'm very high on Stojakovic, and also I think I buy Big Z being closer to what people think he's going to be.
Okay, I could see this being a highly variable grade. If you really like Andre or Big Z, I could see it being really high. If you really don't like them, I could see it being really low. Ultimately, I'm going with a 7. I like Andre. I'm not a huge Big Z believer at this point. I just think he's had plenty of opportunities in pretty wide open front courts to win a big role. And he's played well at times. He's played terrible at times. Like, shot yourself in the foot, can't play him bad at times. So, look, I think he's in a situation where Brad will get the most out of him. We will see the best version of Big Z possible. Fletcher's going to help him reshape his body. But it's just not the guy I would have gone all in on. Like, to me, should they have brought back Ben Rickhouse or should they have gotten a transfer for?
Hmm.
I don't know why they didn't get a transfer for. It just because you want to keep Tom happy? Like, I don't really get it. It feels like they didn't even try. Stojakovic is good to me. He's very good. He doesn't answer their shooting questions. And the summer buzz is not what I wanted to hear. I kind of wanted to hear Andre's been our best player. We haven't heard anything close to that. So ultimately it lands at a 7 for me. I think I might even be a little too optimistic there. There's plenty of more impactful transfer classes all around the country than this one. I mean, a lot of teams brought in 5, 6 guys. Illinois made a decision to not do that and focus on retention, but I think they could have upgraded some spots. They chose not to. The final category is the most confusing one for me out of probably anyone we will evaluate in this entire exercise. Illinois vibes. How the hell do we grade the vibes of this Illinois program right now? 10 if you think it's through the roof, 1 if you think it's a disaster. I don't know what this is.
Okay, we got to give them points for the fact that they didn't have a Real Housewives of Champaign moment this offseason.
Yeah, but is that good? Are we sure the Illinois basketball program under Brad Underwood thrives without chaos?
No chaos, players coming back. They, what I'm saying, they were able to do, this is so hard to do for Illinois. Does football being good affect this?
I think it might. I think it might. I think it really might.
Okay, so here's where I'm at. I honestly, and this maybe just be me reading into the Discord or things, Illinois people I talk to. I feel like vibes are pretty, like, just good. Vibes are good. Slash, we'll see what happens with this team. Like, they make a second weekend, do a little something that feels good about it. But I feel like they feel really good about this team,
Sure. So what are
and
you
and
going
and
with?
and low expectations. But that's also a little bit loser mentality. I'm gonna go with a 7.
You're going 7. Yeah, it's a hard one for me. I kind of want to talk through it because I don't have it
Actually,
figured
no,
out
I
yet.
want to bump it up to an 8.
Up to an 8. Okay.
I think the vibes are good.
So here's the argument for vibes are good for me. And I can't even do my typical grading rubric on this. Normally I'm like baseline 5, gain a point for this, lose a point for this. It's too chaotic for me with Illinois. I don't even know how to assess it. This is what I would say interpreting from the outside here. Um, Illinois sports buzz in general vibes is like 10 out of 10. But a big part of that is football, right? They just got the Larry Geese donation, $100 million pumping into this athletic department. Bielema and Underwood signed extensions. Whitman's happy. Everyone's happy. So I don't think as a fan right now of Illinois sports, you could come on here and say vibes aren't high. Nobody's calling for Brad's head. But I guess as an outsider, my flip side would just be this. Maybe there should be more frustration than there is. And that's how I don't know how to grade this, because you gave Brad Underwood an extension after losing in the round of 32, a place where he has lost 5 of 6 years, to a year one Kentucky head coach. There's no reason Mark Pope's inaugural Kentucky team should have been ahead of Brad Underwood in year 7. And it is. And that's a problem, I think. And Illinois fans aren't really acting like it's a problem, but every single summer this program redefines itself. Last year we heard it's all about talent. Then they failed. And then now this year it's all about retention. What do we pivot to if retention fails? At what point do we step back and realize the identity of this team is just changing their identity every year? Like that's what the Illinois program has become under Brad Underwood to me. And I just point blank don't think they have the talent this year of a Terrence Shannon team or an Io DeSumo Kofi Coburn team. So to me, the pressure's on a little bit. Like, if he doesn't have an improved year from last year, and by improved, I mean contend in the Big Ten, make a second weekend, something here. If he doesn't take a step forward, I do think people are going to look at this like, we gave him an extension. What's going on? For now, no one's talking that way, but I am almost surprised no one is. So what do we do with that? I think you probably nailed it. It's probably an 8. Because there's more money, more excitement with Illinois sports than there has ever been. But to me, this narrative can just flip back and forth on any given day based on where Illinois is at. Also, to conclude this the way I always do it, it would have been a 9 for me because I think they're all super happy. Dock 1 point because Michigan took your most prized possession.
You had to end it with that, didn't you?
I mean, come on. What do you want me to do? Give them a 10 when I stole my favorite player off Illinois and no one cared?
That's not their most prized possession, though.
Who was?
Probably Big T.
Yeah. Well, they made that abundantly clear.
That's their prized possession.
He is.
He's a Balkan.
He is.
Blood is thicker than Balkan.
And I'll take all the Illinois kids. You take all the Balkans.
And let's run it.
Let's do it.
I would like to be on the.
This year's going to be so chaotic. I'm going 8. You're going 8. Add it all up. That's 65 points for Illinois. It's only the second one we're doing. They are far behind Purdue in terms of state of the program, but I think that's what we would expect. A year ago, Illinois was pretty damn close to Purdue, though. So maybe a sign of where we think the state of the program truly is. Maybe trending a little bit away or stagnating a little bit. Do you think they're going to end up pretty high on the list with a 65 grade?
In the Big Ten, yeah.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah, I think it should be. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I'd like to actually look at the past state of the programs and see what we give in Illinois and see what it looks like compared to what this year is.
If you like this video, we have plenty more of these. We're doing this for all of our favorite programs. Go check them out. Subscribe to the Sleepers channel so you can see them all.